Good morning all. Let's begin with today's session. Look at the first question. Consider the following pollutants: PM 2.5, nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide. Question is, which of the above included in the computation of the air quality index in India? Correct answer is all of these 1, 2, 3 and 4. All pollutants have been computed under the air quality index in India. So recently what happened? The air quality index of India worsened and the GRAP 4 was invoked in Delhi. So look at the explanation part. The air quality index was launched by the government in 2014 under the Swachh Bharat mission, and the air quality index transforms the complex air quality data of various pollutants into a single number. And AQI keeps a tab on 8 major pollutants. So PM 2.5, PM 10, NO2, SO2, carbon monoxide, ozone, this is the ground level ozone. Then we have the ammonia and lead, right? And look at these 6 categories, 6 different categories of the air quality index. First of all, good, then satisfactory, moderate, poor, very poor, and severe, and then severe plus. So recently what happened in Delhi? The air quality worsened and it landed into the severe and severe plus category. And that's why the government invoked GRAP 4 mission, GRAP 4 plan, right? In order to curb the deteriorating air quality index. And do remember, it is the part of the National Ambient Air Quality Scheme or program, right? Now let's move on to the next question. So look at the question number 2. With reference to the small modular reactors, consider the following statements. The first one is, they are suitable only for the on-grid and not for the off-grid applications. Absolutely incorrect. Why? Because it is suitable for both the applications, for the on-grid as well as for the off-grid. So the first statement is absolutely incorrect. अब यहाँ question क्या पूछा है? How many of these statements given above are correct? Common sense की बात है. All 3 cannot be the correct answer. So it is ruled out. Look at the second statement. These are cost-effective alternatives to conventional large nuclear reactors. Obviously yes. Second statement is absolutely correct. Why? Because small modular reactors का जो size है that is hardly 300 megawatt. अब 300 मेगावाट न्यूक्लियर रिएक्टर के एस्टैब्लिशमेंट के लिए आपको कम से कम पीस ऑफ लैंड का एक्विजिशन करना पड़ेगा, राइट? इन्वेस्टमेंट वैल्यू कम होगी, जो रिस्क इन्वॉल्व होगा वो कंपैरेटिवली कम होगा, क्योंकि जो लार्ज न्यूक्लियर रिएक्टर्स हैं उनका साइज बहुत ज़्यादा है, राइट? सो यहाँ स्मॉल मॉड्यूलर रिएक्टर्स जो हैं इनमें जो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैं वो काफ़ी कम है. सो दैट इज़ क्वाइट कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव, जल्दी कंप्लीट हो सकता है. और यहाँ जो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर्स हैं या जो आपके पास में इन्वेस्टमेंट्स के लिए जो जो इंडिविजुअल्स हैं या जो कंपनीज हैं उनको अट्रैक्ट करना इस केस में थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा फैसिलिटेटिंग है. सो सेकेंड स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट. लुक एट द थर्ड स्टेटमेंट. इंडिया इज एक्सटेंसिवली रिसर्चिंग स्मॉल मॉड्यूलर रिएक्टर्स टू अचीव नेट जीरो एमिशंस while maintaining the energy security. Absolutely correct. So both these statements 2 and 3 are correct. Question was, how many of these statements given above are correct? So correct answer would be B for Bombay, only 2. Now let's move on to the explanation part. Explanation में this is very important दोस्तों. This is Bharat small reactor. It is related to the small modular reactors, but it is also different. Like Madras Atomic Power Station in Kalpakkam, Tamil Nadu, India has been operating 2 nuclear reactors facilities, each 220 megawatt, each for nearly 40 years. So one of these reactors is currently undergoing the repairs and the other is to become the first Bharat small reactor with the capacity of 220 megawatt, right? So do remember the location of Kalpakkam. So Kalpakkam is situated in Tamil Nadu, right? This question may come up in your examination. Now let's move on to the next question. So look at the question number 3. With reference to the Siliguri corridor, Chicken's Neck, consider the following statements. First statement says, it is the only land border. It is the only land corridor connecting mainland India with the northeastern states. Absolutely correct. Second statement says, the corridor lies entirely within the state of West Bengal and is bordered by Nepal, Bhutan and Bangladesh. Again correct. It is a highly strategic location and a vulnerable point of India, right? And it is in news constantly. Why? Because of the regime change in Bangladesh, and China is trying to increase its proximity with this location, and China is trying to enhance its influence in this entire region. So look at the third statement. Its strategic vulnerability arises partly due to its proximity to China's Chumbi Valley. Again correct. So which of these statements given above are the correct statement? Correct answer would be C for Calcutta. 1, 2, 3. All these statements are correct here, right? So look at the explanation part. Look at the map. This is Siliguri corridor, which is entirely situated in the state of West Bengal, and it borders Nepal, then Bhutan, and south may we have Bangladesh, right? And it is quite close to Chumbi Valley of China. Do remember that Chumbi Valley of China, actually it is also a vulnerable point. Why? Because India is sitting here on the hilltop and China is there in the valley. So whoever is sitting on the hilltop will always be enjoying edge over the enemy, right? So here India is enjoying edge over its potential enemy. Now look at this one. अभी इंडिया ने क्या किया है कि बांग्लादेश में रिजीम चेंज के बाद में अपने 3 नए गैरिसन्स यहाँ पे एस्टैब्लिश किए हैं इन मल्टीपल टाउन्स लाइक असम, बिहार एंड वेस्ट बंगाल. So all sites are close to Indo-Bangladesh border. And why? In order to boost the security of the Siliguri corridor, right? So now let's move on to the next question. So look at the question number 4. With reference to the India-Jordan relations, consider the following statements. First statement says, India was Jordan's largest trading partner in 23-24. This statement is incorrect. India is not Jordan's largest trading partner. I guess it is the 4th largest trading partner of Jordan. So the first statement is incorrect here. Second statement says, India imports a significant quantity of fertilizers from Jordan. Absolutely correct. Potash, right? So India's food security is like dependent on Jordan. Why? Because we are importing fertilizers from there and there's a deficit of fertilizer production in India. So second statement is correct here. Look at the third statement. India and Jordan do not have a memorandum of understanding on the defense cooperation. This statement is incorrect. We do have. It was signed somewhere in 2017-2018. Look at the fourth statement. The year 2025 marks the 75th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between both the countries, India and Jordan. This statement is absolutely correct. So 2 statements are correct here, 2 and 4. Question is, how many of these statements given above are correct? Only 2 statements are correct. So B for Bombay would be the correct answer. So look at the explanation, and before that, look at the map of Jordan. So this is Jordan with the capital Amman. So Jordan forms its border with Saudi Arabia, with Iraq, with Syria, with Israel, with Palestine, particularly with the West Bank. So do remember all these things, right? So Jordan borders 5 countries: Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Israel, West Bank, right? Also sharing the maritime border with Egypt in the Gulf of Aqaba. So Egypt के साथ में maritime border है with the Gulf of Aqaba. Do remember all these things because examiner may ask you about the Emirate border of Jordan, right? So recently both the countries, they completed 75 years of diplomatic relations. Clear? Now let's move on to the next question. So question number 5 is, which of the following has been inscribed on UNESCO's representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity? Kumbh Mela, Durga Puja of Kolkata, Garba dance of Gujarat, Ramleela or Ramayana, Deepavali? Correct answer is all of the above, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So question is, select the correct answer using below. Correct answer would be D for Delhi. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Recently Deepavali was included in the UNESCO's representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity, right? So do remember this was the news recently. Look at the explanation part, and do remember India currently has 15 elements inscribed on UNESCO's representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Clear? तो अभी recently किसको include किया गया है? दीपावली को. So do remember all these important facts. Now let's move on to the next question. Question number 6. Which of the following are measures taken under the GRAP stage 4 in Delhi NCR? First statement, complete ban on all the construction and demolition activities, including the linear public projects. Absolutely correct. Second statement says mandatory 50% staff work from home for all the government and private offices. Absolutely correct. Although it does not apply to those like government servants who are involved in providing essential services, right? So that is an exception. So second statement is also correct. Third statement says entry of the non-Delhi private vehicles below BS6 emission standards is prohibited with essential exemptions. This is also correct, although like in vehicles का कुछ खास contribution है नहीं pollution में, but sometimes it is said कि न्याय हो या ना हो होते हुए दिखना चाहिए, एक्शन हो या ना हो लेकिन होते हुए दिखना चाहिए, राइट? जबकि कोई साइंटिफिक कोई लाइक डेटा नहीं है जो ये कहता हो कि नॉन BS6 स्टैंडर्ड्स जो व्हीकल्स हैं जो कि अदर सिटीज से आएंगे उनसे इतना एयर पोल्यूशन कॉज होगा. ये बेसिकली कॉस्मेटिक चेंजेस हैं, है ना? जो कॉन्क्रीट और जो स्ट्रक्चरल चेंजेस हैं, जो स्ट्रक्चरल स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं वो लेने की जरूरत है. So look at the question, select the correct answer using the code given below. So all are correct here. So correct answer would be C for Calcutta, that would be 1, 2 and 3. Now let's move on to the explanation part. So under stage 4, all the construction demolition is banned, offices operate at 50% capacity, and non-BS6 standard vehicles from outside Delhi are restricted with exception for the essential services, right? अब यहाँ देखिए ध्यान से, graph में total there are 4 stages, stage 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 4 is invoked in case of the severe plus category when the air quality deteriorates beyond the severe category, means इसके beyond चले जाए 401 to 500 air quality index के beyond. So recently GRAP 4 was invoked in Delhi, and do remember the exceptions, what is allowed. We studied what is not allowed, but you should know that what is allowed. So emergency services and the essential operations will not be affected by the ongoing enforcement measures on petrol and CNG vehicles in Delhi. Plus, these includes hospitals, fire services, public transport, electricity pollution control department, forest department and Delhi Jal Board. Professionals and staff workers involved in the said emergency essential services will be exempt from the work from home rule, right? So one should know all these important facts. Now let's move on to the next question. Look at the question number 7. Consider the following statements. Statement number 1 says, India has been ranked 130th. India has been ranked 130th countries and territories in 2025 Human Development Report. Absolutely correct. Second statement says, the HDR 2025 is titled as a matter of choice, people and possibilities in the age of artificial intelligence. Again correct. The third statement says, India's life expectancy rose from 58.6 years in 1990 to 72 years in 2023, the highest ever, reflecting a strong post-pandemic recovery. Absolutely correct. So all these statements are correct here. So correct answer would be D for Delhi, that would be 1, 2 and 3. So all these statements are correct here, right? Now let's move on to the explanation part first. All these statements are correct here. India's HDR rank is 130 out of 193. Clear? So look at the next question. The Ani Air Base, it was recently news, it is located in which country? Correct answer is that is Tajikistan. Why? Because India ने इसको लीज पे लिया हुआ था इस एयर बेस को, और लीज क्योंकि ओवर हो चुकी है इसलिए इंडिया ने रिसेंटली इस एयर बेस को क्विट कर दिया है. ठीक है. सो नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द एक्सप्लेनेशन पार्ट. सो द एनी एयर बेस is a strategic military facility in Tajikistan used for the joint exercises and regional security operations. Last month, it came to light that India no longer operates its erstwhile overseas air base in Tajikistan that gave it a strategic heft in Central Asia. So in 2022, India started quietly withdrawing its military personnel and equipments from the Ani air base in Tajikistan, which it had built and maintained for the last 2 decades. Somewhere it is a setback for India because we maintained this location for more than 2 decades, right? And it is quite close to Central Asia. So it is located around 20 kilometers from Afghanistan's Wakhan corridor, which shares a boundary with Pakistan occupied Kashmir and with China's Xinjiang province, right? So this was in news recently. Now let's move on to the next question. अब क्योंकि क्वेश्चन हमने तजिकिस्तान से लिया है तो उसकी बॉर्डर जो है उसका लैंड बॉर्डर आपके एग्जामिनेशन में आ सकता है. सो विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग कंट्रीज शेयर अ बॉर्डर विद तजिकिस्तान? अफगानिस्तान करेक्ट है, चाइना यस करेक्ट, किर्गिस्तान अगेन करेक्ट, उज्बेकिस्तान इज ऑल्सो देयर, पाकिस्तान इज नॉट देयर, राइट? So correct answer would be, that would be 1, 2, 3 and 4, means A for Ahmedabad would be the correct answer. Now let's move on to the explanation part. So look at this one. This is Tajikistan, and Tajikistan forms its border with China, with Kyrgyzstan, with Uzbekistan, with Afghanistan as well. But in between Tajikistan and Pakistan, there's a gap, right? So पाकिस्तान के साथ कोई immediate border नहीं है, so Pakistan does not share a direct land border with Tajikistan. The two countries are separated by the narrow Wakhan corridor, which is the part of Afghanistan, right? So this question may also come up in your examination. So this was the last question of today's session दोस्तों. हम मिलेंगे अपने next session में. So bye bye, take care, जय हिंद.